Aloha and welcome to Quick Trip Adventures Guide to Maui. Maui is an adventure-filled, beautiful island with thrilling hikes, kayaking, snorkeling, biking, of course surfing, the road to Hana, and more. I hope this guide helps you in your adventure to Maui. In Maui, you'll find crystal clear turquoise blue and warm waters with palm trees blowing in the breeze and mountains in the distance. This tropical paradise is an oasis of beauty with a long and sometimes violent history of land grabs and rulers. It's easy to understand why so many people would want part of this wonderland. Wondering where to stay in Maui? We stayed in the northwestern coastal area of Lahaina, where there are beautiful high-rise condos all along the shoreline with the help of VRBO. You can't go wrong staying anywhere in this area as there are many accommodations as well as options for restaurants and some shopping. The communities have a Lahaina address and include Kanapali Golf Estates, Kahana, where I stayed, Kapalua, Montauk, Kapalua Bay, Napili, North Kanapali Beach, Alawalu, Pineapple Hill, and Punoa. I stayed in Kahana, which has a beautiful view of the distant islands, which are actually also part of Maui, Lanai, and Molokai. It's a perfect place to spot humpback whales in the winter. It's also a good place for both families and couples. There's certainly something nice to be said about waking up to the sound of waves crashing on the shore while the birds are singing their morning songs. So if you find a reasonable deal for a place on the beach, preferably with a little kitchen because of the high price of food everywhere in Hawaii, then I say take it. I stayed at the Valley Isle Resort. I got it through VRBO. It was in Kahana. I was expecting Maui to be more built up than it is. That's not to say that it's remote. There are areas where the bigger stores are clustered, mostly near the major airport, Kahului, and most of the other areas are condos or homes in the midwestern and southwestern side of the island. There are 3 major grocery stores in Lahaina: Safeway, Foodland Farms, and Times. Plus, there are several specialty and smaller markets around. Prepare yourself mentally for the Hawaiian prices, which means high. Of course, everything has to be flown or shipped in. A fun area to eat is the Kanapali food trucks called Broke da Mouth. Upscale shopping. Whalers Village of Kanapali has lots of shops, restaurants, experiences, and even fun events. They have a lot of little boutiques throughout this shopping area. If you are not within walking distance of this village or staying in Kanapali, then it's $12 to park in the parking garage. The ABC store here and scattered throughout Maui has souvenir, beach, and convenience items with lots of things that you may have forgotten or need at good for Hawaii prices. I love the Maui Poke restaurant here with their make-your-own fresh and delightful poke bowls. Transportation around Maui. You will certainly need a car to get around anywhere on Maui because the airport is more in the central portion of the island and many of the accommodations or adventures are on the shorelines. As far as the beaches go in Maui, the water is clear, warm, 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit all year long, and turquoise blue. That means that you can swim, snorkel, kayak, paddleboard, sail, surf, etc. in most places right off of the golden sand. Note that in many of the coastal areas, there's only a small beachfront or no beach at all. But you'll find some if you look for them. There are always an abundance of surfers at the beaches off of Highway 30 between Lahaina and Malaya at all the beach parks along the way. Bring your surfboard, although there were some rental trucks there as well. Pull off the road, park in the sand, and hang 10. Maui has many surfing areas for beginners with some stipulations about reefs, rocks, and riptides, so do your homework on the area before you head out. Some of the best waves for advanced surfers are at Ho'okipa Beach, Lahaina Reefs, Honolua Bay, and Olowalu Beach. Of course, we cannot forget the famous Pe'ohi Beach, nicknamed Jaws Beach, on the North Shore. It is strictly for professional surfers only due to its incredibly high, like sometimes 70-foot waves. Note that these waves only occur a few times per year in the winter, and it takes a four-wheel drive vehicle to get to this location due to a dirt road and a rainy area. Hiking in Maui. This is how I did these two hikes together, the Kapalua Coastal Trail with a Burger Shack detour and the Dragon's Teeth Trail. You park in the same parking lot for both of these hikes. Driving directions, and my Maps navigator had it wrong, that's why I'm including it, is you take the Hana Highway, that's Honoapiiilani Highway, which is Highway Route 30, northeast. You make a left onto the office road, which is Kapalua, and take it to the end near the Ritz-Carlton. You turn right, and the parking lot is right there. So the Kapalua Coastal Hiking Trail, it's a lovely trail along the ocean with incredible bluffs and turquoise blue waters to fill up your senses. As you hike along the coastline, you'll encounter warm sprays of water billowing up onto the large lava rock formations. This hike is full of lava protrusions from a West Maui volcano that erupted 320,000 years ago. There were a good amount of people on the trail, but it wasn't really unbearably crowded at all. To get to this trail, I started the trail at the Dragon's Teeth parking lot and headed south. The Burger Shack break between the hikes was once you return to the parking lot off of the office road from the Kapalua Coastal Trail, then head north on foot. You will basically just be walking on a sidewalk that leads right to the Burger Shack for a refreshing drink on D.T. Fleming Beach. Dragon's Teeth Trail. It is also known as Makaluapuna Point. It's a quick half-mile trail out and back right from the parking lot off of Office Road in the Kapalua community. Head straight down to the water for a sweet and quick trail right out to this unique lava formation. The jagged teeth are made from lava from a volcano eruption. When the lava hit the water, the wind and waves blew it back to form these cool black teeth. Don't forget to look over the edge for the Hawaiian sea turtles. Nakalili Blowhole Hike. The Nakalili Blowhole is a beautiful natural spout that's an amazing sight to see and explore. The blowhole is about 1.5 miles north of the Lahaina area. The drive to the blowhole passes many stunning overlooks with hairpin turns along the water's edge up into the mountains. There are some options to pull over and enjoy the view on the way. The spot is actually ocean water shooting through a 3-foot diameter hole in a lava shelf. Anything you read about this place gives many warnings of death around the lava shelf, either being sucked into the hole itself or from a large unexpected wave breaking over the lava cliffs near the blowhole and pulling people into the rough waters. Just use caution and don't get too close. If you stand away from it, you'll be fine. If you are not interested in this short but decent rock scramble down to the blowhole, but if you do, wear secured sport sandals with backs or hiking shoes, as it's kind of slippery. Then you can also view it from up above. The blowhole is a remarkable sight, especially if it's windy. You get a spout every 30 seconds or so. Turns out it's always windy here, but you can check out the tide chart and go when it's high tide, and then you'll get the best show. Up to 50 feet of spray going up in the air. Haleakala National Park. There's a national park on the island of Maui, and it's a volcano in a non-eruptive stage. Unfortunately, I did not have enough time to hike or bike down this volcano, as it was further away from Lahaina than I'd realized. If you have the time, there's a lot to explore on this volcano. Note that some of the hiking trails are at the end of the road to Hana, so plan accordingly, as there is a lot of drive time to get to that location. The road to Hana is an all-day adventure, so here is how to prepare for it. It's a long road through the rainforest and jungle on the eastern side of Maui. It has over 600 curves and 54 one-lane bridges on this windy road. I drove it in a standard-size rental car without any difficulty. Just take your time and follow the rules and you'll be in good shape. Note that it does take a long time to do this 34-mile drive. That's Paia to Hana, but you could go further to the 7 sacred pools, also known as Ohio pools. There are more than 40 stops along the way, and the stops are the true reason for this road. The road to Hana includes waterfalls, beaches, gardens, swimming holes, food stands, caves, also known as lava tubes, and a state park. A few things to do before getting on the road to Hana. One thing is to gas up ahead of time. You could do it before you get to Paia Town, but there are also gas stations in Paia Town right before you start on the road to Hana. Another thing is to get cash because many of the roadside stops only take cash. Another thing is to put plastic down or something to cover your car's floorboards, as many of the trails to the waterfalls or the hikes are muddy in this rainforest. You could also even use bags from the grocery store. Also, start the tour in Paia Town at 8 a.m. so that you can finish it all before dark. Also, making reservations at the Black Sand Beach, which is also called Waianapanapa, no, Waianapanapa State Park. You need to do that weeks ahead of time. You have to give them a time slot when you're making that reservation. I recommend the 12:30 to 3 o'clock time frame because if you start the road to Hana at 8 a.m., this gives you time to see all the sites ahead of time and have enough time to explore and even swim at this black sand beach. Note that when I made my reservation, I did not receive an email confirmation. So I took a photo on my computer of the voucher with the QR code right after I made my reservation, and that worked to get into the park. Otherwise, I would not have been able to get in. Download the Shaka Guy app. It's a tour that follows you on GPS and tells you about all the highlights. It's an app. Also, bring a picnic lunch and or heavy snacks and drinks. There were a few places to eat or get snacks along the way, but they were fairly scarce, so I would definitely bring food with you. Make sure you have a car charger for your cell phone. Also note that most of this road does not have cell service. And if you plan to swim, wear a swimsuit under your clothes. It makes it a little bit easier. Bring a towel, some reef-safe sunscreen, and a change of clothes and a bag to store your wet clothes and your swimsuit in. On the road to Hana, I made the following stops. The first was Hoakipa, Hookipa Beach Lookout. The second stop was Twin Falls, which parking was $10 cash or card, and there's 2 waterfalls you can hike to through the rainforest. It was really pretty. That was at mile marker number 2. The third stop was the Garden Grove Cafe roadside stand for their famous banana bread. Fourth stop was Waikamoi Ridge Nature Park, which was a walk through the rainforest with eucalyptus tree scents and large eucalyptus trees. Fifth stop was Kaumahina, Kaumahina State Wayside Park. There were views from above, and there was also a bathroom there. Next up was Keanai, Keanai Peninsula. It had lava formations on the water, tide pools, breaking waves. It was at mile marker 16.8. Next stop was the secret lava tube or cave. It was at mile marker 23, and you would pretty much pass it if you don't know about it. It was about a 100-yard long cave right off of the road. It was very cool. Next up was Coconut Glens for coconut milk ice cream. Cool little spot. And then the black sand beach that I was just talking about that you need reservations for, the Wainapanapa State Park. That was mile marker 32. Also, there's a small lava tube/cave to the right of it while looking at the water on this black sand beach. A lot of people in the water here. Next up was a food truck in Hana. And there are lots of mini stops all along the way, little quick stops for waterfalls just before the one-lane bridges often, and many stops for scenic overlooks. Kayaking and snorkeling in Maui. Getting into Hawaii's beautiful warm waters and spying on gentle marine life is another not-to-be-missed adventure in Maui. I highly recommend Hawaiian paddle sports for a truly Hawaiian experience, kayaking and snorkeling with sea turtles. Our paddle guide, Lo, was a treasure trove of information on Hawaiian history, culture, geography, and geology formations. We also learned all about our sea friends, including the turtles and many of the beautiful sea creatures that we would have easily missed right under our floating feet. Definitely a must-do. I kayaked and snorkeled off the shores of the southwestern region of Maui in the town of Kihei, Kihei. This led to also exploring that area, which is much more of a town than a resort area. You will also see people snorkeling around the resorts in Lahaina. Either bring, rent, or look for snorkeling equipment in your condo. This was my good luck. And there's lots of other snorkeling spots in Maui, and I have that on my blog site on Quick Trip Adventures. Maui sunsets need to know information. Maui sunsets are spectacular. We all know that the sun sets in the west, where most of the Maui accommodations are located. Simply walk to the beach or rent a kayak or paddleboard or sit in the surf while the sun slowly descends near the mountains of the distant islands. It's a sight to behold. Sunset tip. At sunset in Maui, many people blow into a conch shell. I first thought it was a tsunami warning, but soon learned it's a Hawaiian ritual with a long history. In Hawaiian culture, the blowing of the conch shell has a sacred meaning as a journey to eternity or to begin a ceremony, as well as previously being used for communication across the waters. In modern times, it is used to bid farewell to the day and to say thanks for that day. If you'd like more information or a written version of this podcast, please visit quicktripadventures.com under Destinations Maui. Thanks for listening.